Hi everyone, I'm Chris Campbell. I'm a principal at an elementary school, and one of the things that I often struggle with is finding ways to give people feedback. So what I did with a friend was designed a Google form that automatically sends a PDF document to staff members after observations that are made. These would be, the same thing you'd try to do on the side, or scratching a note and leaving it on somebody's desk, or trying to remember that when you visited you saw something you had some questions about. This is sort of an asynchronous way to share your thoughts and your feelings and maybe questions that you might have about something that you observed in a classroom. So without further ado, what I've used is something called Autocrat. By using Autocrat, it's a mail merge program. It's an add-on that can be added to several different things inside Google Documents, particularly in Sheets. And so what you do is create a form. So this is my feedback form. So you capture some information: the teacher's name, email address, grade, subject, etc. And I've actually created just a little button on my iPhone as well. So this is available to me when I go into classrooms. I can just select it and bring it up, and that's it's quite handy. So once this form is created, what it does is it generates some data in an Excel spreadsheet or a Sheets. So I can open up the Sheets document here. You can see that I did a test of it. So I pretended that I was teaching grade 8 math, and of course it selects my email address because I created it, and then from there the document creates, through Autocrat, creates some PDFs, and the PDF that it does the mail merge, or the document that I use to make the PDF, is here. This is called the source document. So you'll notice that I have these little carrot shaped things on the side, these little kind of greater than, less than symbols. Those are all used as prompts through Autocrat to pick up text that's going to be replaced from something that is collected in my sheet. So you have this sort of form letter, and then everything is filled in through the form letter by Autocrat. So what you do is, again, you create a form, and then the form can be dumping its information that it harvests into an Excel spreadsheet, and then in Excel you get something called Autocrat, and I'll just open that up. You can go to Get Add-ons, type in Autocrat, and it'll get there. Click on Open, and I've already created a job, so this is the tricky bit, but it's not that tricky. You can anyone that's used Google Documents or done a mail merge before will have no trouble with this at all. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to go to Edit because I don't want to create a new job. This works quite well. So I called mine 2019 West Classroom Visits, and I'll go Next. And you have to select the source document. So that's the one where the Sheets data goes into in the mail merge. I'm going to go Next. And then what you have to do is you have to overlap all that data. So it's saying timestamp maps to timestamp, teacher maps to teacher's name, etc., etc. Then it creates a file, and what I opted to do was to use some of the data in here to automatically create file names, which is handy because I can use teacher's name, teacher's email address, the date, the subject, the classroom. So I used teacher's name, subject, and the timestamp, so that when I have all of these PDFs that are being sent out to people as informal feedback, I'm collecting a copy of that stuff as well for future discussion. Then you need to have a destination folder for that stuff. So that's another thing that in this file folder I've created. So every one of the PDFs that's generated from the form and the Excel spreadsheet being mail merged into the source document goes into here. So if I double click on this, you'll see that the first one that I created is the merge product. A copy of this is automatically emailed to the staff member I observed, and is also kept on my Google Drive as well, which is quite handy. So where were we? So now I'm in classroom visits, and I've got my destination folder, and it's going to say, do you want a dynamic reference? I don't use that. It's not necessary for this purpose. Then it says, do you want to set a mail merge condition? So this would be if something is changed on the form and if something is created in the spreadsheet itself, and I have it set to timestamp not null, meaning if there isn't a date in the row or the column, it won't generate, it won't do the mail merge function and send out the email to a staff member. Again, this one might not be necessary from what I've read, but I put it in anyway. The next one is, do you want to share the document? And yes, I do. Then I wanted to share it as a PDF, although you could choose to have it be an editable document, a Google Doc. Allow collaborators to reshare. I'm going to say yes. I don't know why that says no. Send generic non-reply address. I'm not going to do that. And then I've got, in this, you can select data as well. So this is the part where it creates an email to send out. So it creates the document, and it says, what do you want to do with that document? And you can select the data from this side. And pro tip, if you click on it, it automatically copies it. So you can go like this, and you can go Control V, and it will dump it into whatever field you want. But I'm going to take that out because I don't need that. So teacher's email address is where it's going. I put in my email address, and then I click on Next, and then you can add job triggers. Now this is where Autocrat does all the heavy lifting for you. So you've gone in, you've done your form, it's fed into the Excel spreadsheet, it's used the source document, created the PDF, and then that PDF gets sent via email to staff members that are getting the feedback from you. The job trigger is simply that the form has been created. So run on form trigger is what I selected as yes, and then I will hit save because I actually did make one change in there, and that information will now launch my survey if I use it. So we'll go through that really quickly. I'm going to go through and select myself, and I'm going to select my email address, and then I'm going to select a grade, and I made all of these necessary. So I select grade 7 this time, subject, let's say science this time, describe what was happening, let's say mixtures and pure substances lab. Mixtures lab, and I was applying, and students were doing some creating and evaluating and analyzing. So you can pick one or lots, and I just use Bloom's taxonomy as basically a conversation starter with staff members. I enjoyed seeing students engaged and thinking about mixtures and pure substances. I just think about mixtures. I wonder what you will do to assess this new knowledge. And so this gets sent, and automatically an email will be sent to me. It runs in the background, can take a minute or two, but the staff member will get their email from me. We can have a look back here. Now that I've filled out the form, my sheet has been filled out, so you can see that the sheet is here and all the information that I put in, so science, mixtures lab, etc. And if we go back here, of course there's no change to this, but it used this form. and it created this piece of feedback. So I can have a look in here. This is the second one. This is what the teacher would see. Looks like I've added an extra, somehow added an extra logo from our school. I'll have to go in and edit that. But suffice to say, it's a handy tool, and I've got a little bit of fine tuning to do in it, but it's going to be a great boon, because when you're meeting with a staff member during a class, it's kind of an inappropriate time to be talking to them about what's going on if they're busy with students. But if they get this to sink their teeth into later, it's an opportunity for discussion about assessment, evaluation, teaching practices, and help everybody build their teacher efficacy, which is, of course, what Hattie says is best. So that's what we're working on. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.